Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
And with that, the Indiana Pacers just will not go away. They're gum on the shoot. They will not go away, as we will have a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. And some people going into these finals said, oh, it's going to be terrible. Too small market. Who cares? Small market, large market, middle market. Let's go to the market. I don't care. What a fun NBA Finals it has been. Hi, everybody. Terry Norvelle coming to you from, of course, our beautiful Action Sports Jacks studio here. We'll do it 4 to 6. A lot to cover, including a deep dive into the NBA Finals. We will finally crown a champion sometime Sunday evening, as that is the day we will have Game 7. We'll talk College World Series Finals, as that will get started tomorrow. A ton of Major League Baseball topics to get to. Florida basketball, I think the Gators get yet another positive development in terms of exposure for the Gator program as the defending national champions. Brent Beaird will join us around 5 o'clock. And Casey Kurtz, did you ever think, or would you have ever thought, that you would be part of a sports show that talks the sport of cricket? Cricket.
I'm still hoping I'm not.
Cricket.
Yeah, I saw that in your text.
I'm telling you, man, I have some numbers, and I've thrown it around the last couple of years because, you know, when you're putting a show together, you snoop around and you look around and you go to different places.
I think we've put shows together differently.
And we do. And, you know, I like to do this date in sports history a lot. And
you do.
The last couple of months, I guess this is kind of the cricket season. And you'll see history, 1972, 1961. The game of cricket is monstrous in certain parts of the world.
Yes.
Absolutely monstrous.
Well, that's what they say.
And so I started putting some numbers together, and it's shocking. And the word is, the word is, I'm just telling you, that the international sport of cricket is starting to get a stronghold in the United States and Canada.
Really?
Being dead serious here. And the reasoning is cricket is a huge sport in India.
It is.
In South Asia, that part of the world.
That's what they say.
Well, I've got numbers to back it up. And the United States South Asian population is expanding by the minute. Same with Canada.
Really?
And I know this is boring, and we'll get off this real quick.
Okay.
We'll get off this real quick. But how about these numbers?
We're doing it right here.
And we're going to do it right here, right now.
You're going to lead with it.
We're going to lead. Why not? Why not?
Listen,
we got 2 hours.
It's a bold strategy.
We got 2 hours.
See how it works out for them.
And it's tied into the NFL a little bit.
Okay. Leading with cricket.
How about these numbers? The cricket Super Bowl, if you will, the most recent one that we have numbers on.
Okay.
That sporting event had 169 million viewers.
Damn.
That is 30 million more than this little thing called the United States American NFL Super Bowl. 30 million more.
169 million. It's hard to wrap my head around, judging that I don't even know what channel you'd find that on.
All I know is eyeballs go 169 million is 30 million more than this little event called the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Wow.
The 2019 Cricket World Cup, and this might be the last one that they have numbers on, because, you know, it's I guess the Cricket World Cup is kind of like every 4 years, maybe something like that.
I'll take your word for it. I certainly can't prove you wrong.
1.6 billion viewer audience. Yeah. And we're talking 3/4 of that is from India.
I was just going to say, is one person in the United States watching this?
But it's starting to take over. The United States is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Isn't that the last thing that the NFL wants globally is for cricket to start eating up eyeballs?
Yeah. Is it a good watch? Do we know?
And cricket can take like multiple days.
Days, yeah.
So I mean,
it'll never catch on here.
If you're an advertiser,
that's fair.
You say,
yeah, that's a good point.
I'll give you a lot of money for my spot to run maybe twice in the Super Bowl between 6:38 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Super Bowl. What if you go, I want to buy 10 commercials over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's an idea.
I don't know anything about cricket, but it is a massively popular sport. Massively.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a game, a match, a contest. What do you call a cricket?
I don't know, but cricket
meeting
is growing in the United States and Canada.
They ain't playing cricket in Canada.
I'm telling you,
I don't care what those numbers say. They ain't playing cricket in Canada.
Crickets are invading. Remember the murder hornets that were coming this way?
I do remember the murder hornets.
Well, you look out for the crickets. The crickets are
different. Yeah.
By the way, India, the country of India, they have a population of 1.4 billion. I mean, that's China numbers, right?
Yeah.
1.4 billion. That is 3 times the population of the United States.
It's hard to wrap your head around, to be honest with you.
Woo. Let me say it again, and we'll get off this. The most recent cricket Super Bowl, if you will, had 169 worldwide viewers.
Million.
I'm sorry, 169 million. What did I say?
Just 169?
169
170 people watched.
Yeah, 170. But boy, they were passionate.
They were really excited.
Hey, they didn't go to the bathroom at all. They watched the whole thing. But funny. Think about 169 million watched the most recent documented cricket Super Bowl, if you will.
Yep.
Our Super Bowl that dominates and gets viewership worldwide had 130 million, roughly 30 million less.
Cricket.
And cricket's only in a little finite part of the world.
Yeah.
Don't let the crickets get out.
Don't let the crickets get out.
Do not let the crickets get out. One more issue that the United States...
They're playing cricket right now.
Are they?
I think.
And I'll tell you this, Casey, the little bit I've seen of cricket, and you've seen it, you got a guy that kind of stands about 30 yards away. Mm-hmm. He runs up, pitches the ball, and it's supposed to, I think, bounce on the ground. And then another dude's got like the SWAT. When you were high school or junior and you got SWATs, the Dina boys had this board. That's what they swing as a bat, kind of, in cricket. And the games go. But I will say this. Unlike American football struggles globally. It's a hard game to learn and teach.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And nurture. Cricket looks like it's pretty simple.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I want you to tell me who's winning between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Here's what I'll tell you. I know I'll give you the scores. I still want you to tell me who's winning. Bangladesh, the score they have is 495.
Okay, yeah.
And 177 over 3.
Okay, yeah.
A fraction.
Yeah, okay.
Sri Lanka has 485.
Oh, well, that tells me, number one, they're in the second quarter, deep in the second quarter. And Sri Lanka's got a solid lead.
They're not quarters at all.
Yeah, Sri Lanka's got a solid lead, though, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Bangladesh is up 187.
Yeah, they are.
Yep, so yeah, it sounds pretty complicated to me.
Yeah, they are.
They have a fraction in their score. 177 over 3.
I was so bad in fractions. I still couldn't tell you. 5/8, 3/4. I just take the socket and I put it on the nut, and if it fits, I get the ratchet.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it ratchet? Yeah, the ratchet.
Ratchet, yeah.
And then and if it doesn't, and by the way, I've got a socket set, and I'm not good on fractions, and about 2 weeks, I bought a brand new socket set, and about 2 weeks into it, I was working on a project, and I bumped it, and they all spilled out. They've never been in the right spot since.
Yeah, I believe that.
And then you just do like I said, you pick it up and test. You do the hand test, right?
Yeah.
You go, I don't know what. Even though the instructions, the thing you're putting together says you'll need a 5/8 socket. I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'll just grab sockets. And sometimes the first one I grab fits, and sometimes the ninth one I grab fits, and sometimes it's like a universal number and it doesn't work. It's like a millimeter. MM. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Not a clue.
Hate it. Anyway, the crickets are coming. Pacers, they just won't go away.
What they say?
They just won't go away. So we go to Game 7 on Sunday. Couple things from the game. Number one, last night, Oklahoma City, their starting five, 1 for 13 from three-point land. You're not going to win much.
They couldn't shoot it.
And they're a shooting team, right? They're a three-point
That's what they
shooter.
do, yeah.
So 1 for 13 for their starters. We talked yesterday about, I don't think any of us thought that Halliburton was going to do much, and he didn't do much. Well, he's about 16 points. So he kind of scuffled around a little bit, but we said for Indiana to do anything, they've got to have some guys cover his ass and probably some bench guys. Well, did you see what Obi Toppin did? 20 points.
There you go.
Did you see what T.J. McConnell? 12. So they got 32 off the bench to kind of cut. Halliburton did give him 16, I think it was.
If
but
you
he's
add that to 32, that's a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's a bunch. Yeah, so they covered his ass, and I don't expect Halliburton to be 400% more healthy Sunday.
No.
But that's the formula we said they would have to have. Do you care? Did you care going in? Small market versus big market. Was that a story to you? I could care less.
No, I didn't really.
And it's been fun.
I'm sure the NBA would rather it have been the Knicks, but...
Sure they would. But I'm sure the NBA, they're happy it goes 7.
100%.
Yeah, they're happy it goes 7. And the underdog has... You know, we haven't watched Indiana win and go fluke. No, they've won. This thing's a coin flip now, isn't it?
Yeah, it would not be shocking if they win the title.
No, I mean, certainly OKC at home, I will take them. I've missed every game, I think, of the 7, but I'll take them. But no, would not be shocking because Indiana, again, they haven't won fluke, tip in, crazy call. No, they've won. They've won 3 games.
Yeah.
So it's 3-all. Now, I got a little spinoff here. Somebody's going to win Game 7. We know that. Somebody's going to win Sunday and going to win the NBA title. And this will be the first one, right, for either one of them.
Yeah.
Right? So somebody gets their virgin title, Indiana or Oklahoma City. Now, I've thought this through, but I want your opinion. I don't know one answer. If OKC wins Sunday, you've got to believe that either SGA or Jalen Williams or both have a big game.
Yeah.
Would that be that's fair?
That's fair.
Right? Okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
If Indiana wins and hoists the title, wins the title, it's been a team effort.
It has.
Who wins MVP? Either SGA or Williams. If Oklahoma City wins, I think that's pretty easy. One of those guys will have a bigger game. If Indiana wins, who the hell's the MVP? Do you just give it to the team? You can't do that. It won't be Halliburton.
Yeah, we did this a little bit earlier. Actually,
you did?
So I remember the odds.
Okay, what do you think?
The favorite to win MVP from the Pacers, not overall favorite.
Okay.
But the favorite to win for the Pacers is Pascal Siakam.
Okay, fair. Wow. I was thinking Halliburton or who else. You're right. He's been steady Eddie for them.
Yeah.
He's been the steady Eddie for them. So it would be Pascal.
The odds have it as Pascal, then Halliburton, and then T.J. McConnell.
I got you.
But,
yeah.
And then on the other side, the overall favorite to win is SGA.
SGA, of course.
And then
Still.
Williams.
And then Williams. But your thing about your point there about Siakam, if his team wins, he's probably going to have at least 25 points.
You would think.
Right? And that'll add to a good 7 games. If his team wins and somehow Halliburton goes for 38, then maybe he sneaks in and gets it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of up in the air, especially in a Game 7. We talked about, this was the point of this earlier, was if you were going to bet on somebody, and Jalen Williams, who already has a 40-point game in the series, if he goofs around and has another one, he's right now plus 900 to win the MVP.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be hard not to give it to him if he had a 40-point night in Game 7. So we'll see. SGA is obviously the favorite for that team.
Casey Kurtz.
Yeah.
What if Williams
Yes.
goes for 41, his second 40, and they lose a buzzer beater? Could the losing team have the MVP? And nobody goes nuts, or Siakam probably still, as long as Siakam in that theory gave you at least 20.
Yeah.
He wins, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But you'd have to if Siakam went for 16 in the final game, his team lost. No. His team won.
Mm-hmm.
Williams went for 41. There'd be some tough votes to turn in.
Yeah, it'd be awkward. I mean,
dicey.
it's happened. Connor McDavid won
The
Stanley
other
Cup
night.
Finals MVP last year.
Last year, okay.
And his team lost.
What's his deal? I don't watch hockey at all. I'm hearing he's the guy in hockey now.
He's the best player in the sport.
He's the best. Yeah. Even though his team's lost too, but they've got to the finals.
Correct.
So it's not his fault. I know
he could be better, but in the finals.
I know very little about hockey.
Sure.
Is he a big, powerful, blow you away guy? Is he a quick skate guy? Is he a quick shot guy? What is he?
He's fast.
He's fast.
He's very fast.
And
He
he's
scores
deadly
a lot.
with the puck.
Mm-hmm. He's not big.
Scorer. So he's a Gretzky kind of guy?
He is Gretzky, yeah.
As opposed to some of the other guys are big
The comparison is Gretzky, yeah.
Gretzky.
Yep.
Very young guy, Connor David?
Yes.
Oh, so,
I mean, came.
but still got a long career.
100%.
Now, is he a guy that would threaten some of these crazy
Yes.
records that we had?
He is.
And somebody just busted Gretzky's, right?
Ovechkin, yeah.
Ovechkin.
So McDavid is 28.
Okay. Now, Ovechkin, don't know this. I know he just had a big record that he broke
The
all
all-time
time.
scoring record. Yeah.
That name just sounds like he's a big dude, though.
Ovechkin's big.
Yeah, right? You can't be Ovechkin and little
Yeah.
quick guy.
Ovechkin, yeah, he's big. He shoots at 100 miles per hour.
Now, he's a big guy. Does he get roughed up? You know, Gretzky, they said, never got roughed up because he had goons. And does Ovechkin get roughed up?
Ovechkin checks, yeah. I wouldn't say he gets roughed up, but he will hit you.
But he'll go. Now, Gretzky wouldn't go run a guy in the boards.
Right.
That just wasn't his.
And McDavid doesn't really play that game.
And nor does. Now, McDavid, Canadian or American?
Canadian.
He's a Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to have you understand it, he averages 42 goals a season. He's very, very
sounds good. I don't know much about it, but that sounds good.
It's really great, yeah.
And then you get points for assisting, right?
Yeah, he averages 125 points a year.
Yeah. Now, was he, the little bit I know about hockey, 100 years ago, when Gretzky was a teenager, you knew Gretzky was going to be. Was Ovechkin, knighted by hockey? He's going to be star.
Ovechkin's a little different because he was Russian, or he was
rushing where to go where?
He is Russian.
Oh, I got you. See where I went with that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That's well done. So it's kind of hard to feel that part of it. I think for a lot of people, he just kind of showed up here and was very good from the beginning. So once he was here, it was established. McDavid, though, to your point, he played in the NHL at 19. So,
wow. So yeah, he was knighted.
McDavid was that guy.
He was pretty much knighted. As we go to break, how many shows in the greater Duval County area
0
on Friday, June 20th, let off segment 1 with a, may I say, compelling
cricket conversation?
Cricket / NHL after the cup is over conversation.
Listen, it's actually kind of wild in full circle because me and Brent for an hour today talked about not cricket, talked about players that were, as you just put it, knighted from an early age. We talked about the Bryce Harpers, the Trevor Lawrences.
Yeah.
And we started there and spun off of that for an hour, and now you just bring it full circle with McDavid is quite interesting.
Now, was that show rundown stuff, or did y'all just wander into that, do you think?
If you do a show with Brent Martineau, you find there is no rundown.
There's no rundown. As we go to break, I got to show you this. This was sitting here in our studio.
It was.
Did you guys talk about this guy?
Greg Coleman was here today. He was not on the show.
Are you serious?
We recorded a 90-minute, similar to some of the other things we recorded, that'll come out in July.
Yes.
But yeah, Greg and Brent recorded a show for about
that is so
90
awesome. Great local guy. A little bit older than me, but Lord knows we were so proud of him. Came out of Rains.
Yep.
And a multi-sport guy, great athlete, and had a long career punting.
He did.
In the NFL. We used to be so proud watching on Sunday when he would punt for the Vikings.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was his only team. That was his main team.
Yes, he spent majority of his career at the Vikings. He started in Cleveland.
Greg Coleman, related to the great Vince Coleman, baseball player out of here. But oh my God, Reigns, and I was just thumbing through this and some of the names, and it was neat that he paid homage to Stank White and Jimmy Johnson, the track coach, and all his buddies, and Don Gaffney, former Gator quarterback, teammate at Terry LeCount. Wow, that had to be great. By the way,
it was great.
As we go to break, to promote again that series you guys have here, and is it running now, or are we about to?
It will run in July,
and it's like the something of 904
Storytellers of the 904.
Storyteller. When will it start running?
It's going to be in early July.
I'm telling you, this is must watch. This is good stuff. I saw you
it's
guys,
really good.
And I'm assuming nothing's run yet, obviously.
Yep.
So I saw you guys. I'm assuming you produced.
I do.
When Brent had Sam Kavaris in.
Yep.
And we were 30 minutes before going on air, so you guys were doing it. Mm-hmm. And I was mesmerized. I know Sam. I know Sam and did a little bit of stuff with him here and there. But Sam, that was mesmerizing.
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. We've recorded, I think this was our 7th one.
Okay.
All of which are equally pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly.
Can you remember some of the other subjects?
Absolutely. We had so Greg Coleman. We did Tony Baselli.
Okay.
Not talking about his football career, which I think is fascinating.
Really cool, by the way. We all know,
all the other stuff that you may not know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of media people, right? Because Brent's in charge. So you mentioned Sam Kavaris, Pete Prisco.
Nice.
Gene Fournette, who has just retired.
Yeah.
We had Pedro Bregan, the original, the son of the original owner of the Jacksonville Suns, which was really good.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely forgetting one. But
that's good stuff.
There's good.
How many will there be, or is that pretty much going to max it out? Or
no, I think we're in there's 3 more we have to record, and then there's one we're still setting a date for. So I think we're in the 10 to 12 range.
Are we looking at an hour-ish or different time?
Definitely an hour. I'm trying to convince him. He wants to cut him down to a strict hour, and I'm trying to convince him to let him go over, because today, like I mentioned, it was about an hour and 20. I was like, you shouldn't cut any of that out.
I mean, if you're a Jaguar fan and you want to know the history of the team landing here, that Kavaris stuff, and I knew most of it because I'm old and I know Sam. But, oh, my God, it's riveting.
I'm glad you said that, because the one I'm forgetting is Dan Edwards.
Dan Edwards.
Original PR guy.
The original PR guy.
There's actually a spinoff that I'm also trying to convince Brent to do, because Gene and Pete and Dan and Sam all tell a similar story about some of the behind-the-scenes, how they got the team here stuff. And they don't all they are all true, but they don't always agree with each other.
Yeah, sure.
And I think there's a couple more stories to be told there. So, but yeah, no, it's
whose idea was this? Was this Brent's or yours?
It was Brent's. It was Brent's, and then we came together and put a list together.
Yeah, tip of the hat, man.
It's really good.
Tip of the hat. If you're a Jacksonville native, if you're new to Jacksonville, if you don't quite, you'll hear stories and you go, gosh, I can't fill in all the blanks. Boy, you can listen to this series.
You learn so much.
And a lot of the Kavar stuff was wonderful. How's Sam doing? He looked great.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He was really excited to do it, and that's what's been cool. But I was a little concerned about, are people going to want to talk about themselves for an hour? It's a tough thing to do.
Agree.
And I think
I've got it down pretty good. But
I mean, I think that's some of Brent's ability to bring that out of people.
To pull it out, sure.
And, they've all been really, really quality.
I also thought it was really, when I watched the Kavaris one the other day, it was neat. Obviously, Sam is a historian now, and I'm not aging him, but Sam was here in the early 80s and through the Jags, and he finally retired. And Sam's angle was, I looked at it as very interesting. Sam Kavaris came through when local, and obviously Action News and when local news had more of a hold on your local community. I mean, you didn't have the nationals and the regionals, and so you made a point. You were intimate, and you know what I mean by this, with your 6 o'clock local news crew.
Yep.
And Sam, and then Brent, his career, and Brent's now becoming the veteran.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't like that.
But his career, he started where there was many more other tributaries out there, and it's a little bit different. And you gotta, Brent Martineau has to carve a few more different little paths than just the, hey, man, if you had the coveted 3 minutes at 6:18 to 6:21, everybody watched. Everybody, when Kavares came through. So they were different eras.
Yeah.
But you could see a lot of similarities in them, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That is good. I'm glad we got off on that. Really?
Yeah, it's worth all of them. And, like, again, this is going to hit for anybody.
Is the plan to drop them all on Action Sports Jacks, and then people can just go to the library and just pop them out?
You know, we're still
figuring it out.
We're still having that conversation because they will be on the network first originally.
Gotcha.
Because Brent's show takes 2 weeks off. We always take 2 weeks off in the summer.
So there's your fill.
The original plan was to play them there.
There's your fill, yeah.
The next question is, where do we put them after that?
Oh, yeah, and you have to archive them somewhere.
Yeah, because...
and I don't mean just we can go find our shows.
Yeah.
I think they need to... nobody asked me, but I think they need to be...
I'll relay the information.
Yeah, I think they need to be archived in a top shelf spot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You know, I mean, we can go find... This show you can go find on 18 different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But that series needs to be... where it pops out and hits you in the face, kind of.
Yeah, that's...
that makes sense?
Yeah, I'll relay that information. We need to hit people in the face with this content.
In the face with a...
It's really, really good, though. The only other one I can say, because I don't want to say the others, is Dan Hicken. Be, obviously, Brent and Dan, that will be...
and that will be a dynamic that...
Yep. Yep, good friends there, so that'll be a good one. And then after that, there's a couple other athletes.
If you can, while you're... Stir those two up. That'll be good TV.
Yeah,
stir them up.
We've
stir them up.
We've talked about that a little bit. So yeah, it should be good. But yeah, it's really good.
Hey, just to as we go to break here, as we're off and running on a Friday, got a lot to get to. Just to stir it up a little bit on this show. At some point, I know the cricket talk was wonderful.
It was,
and I know the hockey talk, which we don't do much, was wonderful. At some point, hopefully, I can work in. You know, I am very little. I'm probably the least hunter-fisher outdoorsman in the world. Maybe we could talk some offshore fishing that I'm going to go on.
You're going offshore fishing?
Going offshore fishing.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh.
It should be riveting. I'm scared to death. All right.
Should be.
That and a whole lot more. He's Casey Kurtz. I'm Terry Norvelle. We hope to hear from Brent Beaird in the 5 o'clock hour. College World Series Finals. Want to get to that. Major League Baseball. A lot happened, as it does every day in Major League Baseball. That and a whole lot more. One down, a long way to go. It is the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University. and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
All right, let's get right back into it on a Friday, heading into a busy weekend. Terry Norvelle here on Action Sports Jax. Patrick Young trying to hook up with us. I think he's got some stuff going on at home. We're going to hear from Brent Beaird a little bit later, about 5 o'clock, with a lot of college stuff. One of the weekend stories we'll cover is, of course, the College World Series, as we welcome you back to the program. LSU and Coastal Carolina, kind of the bully of college baseball and the newcomer. I say the bully because LSU has won 7 College World Series in baseball. 7. They are like, in terms of getting to the finals, they are 7-1. And Casey, any idea who the one was? Well, LSU, when they get to the finals, they generally win it in baseball. They lost it one time, Casey. One time. 2017. 2017 Orange and Blue squad got
that's what I was just thinking. Is
Orange
it Florida?
and Blue. Florida's the only one to beat them in a championship series when they make it. They're 7-1. LSU has won it. Won the College World Series 91, 93, 96, 97, 2000, 2009, and then a couple of years ago in 23. So if LSU wins it again this weekend, they will have won 2 of the last 3, and they really are the bullies of college baseball. You go back before the 80s, USC, Rod Dato and those guys, they won $1 million. They were kind of like the UCLA of basketball team of baseball. But LSU is really, really the power. And they're the program, once postseason play starts, I don't care if it's Hoover SEC tournament, I don't care if it's regional, I don't care if it's super regional, I don't care if it's Omaha. LSU is the program in college baseball. You got to put a stake in their heart. I mean, you don't obviously ask Arkansas the other night.
Yeah.
You don't just kind of beat them. You have to bury them. I guess that Alabama football run kind of was like that. Man, when the lights come on for the big game, that Alabama run, good luck beating them. LSU has that. They've got that. You got to believe, though, the TV boys love the matchup. Wouldn't you think? You got the bully of college baseball and the darling.
I would think so.
The darling. How about if Coastal was to win 2 of 3 this weekend, or even 2 in a row? If Coastal was to win it again, you realize the Chanticleers will have 2 college baseball national championships in their trophy case, and programs like FSU would have 0. North Carolina would have 0.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson would have 0.
Crazy.
Arkansas would have 0. The 3 mentioned right there after Florida State are all 0-12 historically. Wow. Florida State is 0-24. Damn. One of the great mysteries of sports.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of legendary players. And
Oh, have they?
what's interesting about LSU, though, to me, is you talk about the last two LSU, this one and the last one.
Yeah.
That team is borderline one of the greatest college baseball teams of all time. Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan.
Agree.
So many other major leaguers. This team only has one highly draftable kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a totally different
That
way to do it.
left-handed pitcher, I think, right? Anderson?
Yeah, Anderson.
Anderson, yeah.
But, like, that other LSU team was like, there's like, it's very similar to the 2020 LSU football team where they all ended up in the NFL.
Well said.
Burrow and Chase and all them.
Yep, Jefferson, yeah.
And that baseball team is very, very similar, and there's more still in the minors that are about to come up to the majors, so multiple ways to do it.
And, oh, by the way, LSU, obviously it's a great baseball program, a great culture. 3 titles with three different stints with 3 different coaches. I mean, Skip Bertman got things going. He won all those, like those 5, the first 4 or 5. Paul Maneri gets hired, comes over from Notre Dame and wins one early. That was nice. He won one, but he won one early, which helps. And then LSU, Maneri retired, then just came out of retirement. He's now at South Carolina, but he went ahead and retired. He's been in the game a long time. They go out because they're LSU, and they hire a really good up-and-coming coach from Arizona, which is a baseball power, Jay Johnson. And Johnson comes in, and he's about to win 2 or 3 if they can get one.
There you go.
He's about to win one. So there's just something about baseball, and they've embraced it for years. I mean, LSU and Mississippi State were the first 10,000 crowd. They now average 13, 14. They now, they've got almost a wraparound stadium. It's just a big deal. Big deal. And boy, LSU is hard to beat in Baton Rouge when the humidity's going. It's late in the year.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember, you remember years ago, Slippery Rock, of all people, went in and beat them.
I actually do remember that.
Slippery Rock. And I think they made it, they beat them in the Super to get out to Omaha. So that is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if necessary. If necessary. A Gator basketball note I want to get out. And I'm kind of fascinated about Gator basketball now. Obviously, they're the defending national champions. It looks like they've got the right coach, Todd Golden, which is huge in college athletics. Get the right coach. I do think he goes to the NBA. I think Florida may have him another 3 to 5 years. Are you along the same lines there? I mean, he's going to test the NBA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. With that said, though, I mean, Florida, so many things are happening seems like every day something new happens. A national title, a young, vibrant coach, a fun style of play, a bunch of guys come back, a wonderful pre-conference schedule. And then this is just one more little, I may be blowing this up too much, but one more little piece to help build. When you're not a blue blood, you want to keep building your program, keep rising it, keep it out there. Make people talk Gator basketball. Walter Clayton gets an invitation to the green room. And the word is only...
Interesting.
Yeah, the WNBA only invites 24. And what does it have, 30, 32 teams?
32, yeah.
So, not one for one, theoretically. But I think they announced, like, the top 12 a couple weeks ago that got invited. And the second wave to get it to 24, Walter Clayton's in there, which makes you think there's a good chance the University of Florida is going to hear their name. And I think little things like that help. That doesn't help Kentucky as much, or Duke, or North Carolina. I think that helps. If NBA draft night, somewhere in those 3 hours, Walter Clayton, University of Florida, boom, I think that helps this program.
Yeah, I hope they're right because, a lot of the draft, if he's going to be a first rounder, it's going to be late.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets picked so you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah,
so,
and the article I read that announced this kind of went along with what you were saying, that you kind of get the feeling, particularly the second go-around of groups of players. The first 12 or 13 you and I could probably do.
Yeah.
Right? The 2 guys from Rutgers, Cooper Flagg,
Trey Johnson.
Trey Johnson from Texas, and a couple big men here and there, and save a couple spots for European kids.
Yep.
Right. But the article I read today said, okay, that second 12 or whatever that the NBA just topped it out at, it referenced, you know what? There's probably a pretty good chance that the NBA calls around.
Oh yeah.
And does kind of a hey, what are you guys thinking? This is confidential, but what are you guys thinking? You're in pick 15 to 30.
Yeah.
And they kind of, the word is, this article said, they kind of, do a little investigating.
Oh yeah, I would think so. I mean, especially if you're picking in the last 10, like, give me a couple names that you think would be in play here for you guys.
And if two guys got 3 hash marks on the
there you go.
Boom, boom, boom. Well, let's invite these guys because the last thing the NBA, NFL, Major League, you don't want to embarrass a guy in the green room.
Correct.
And so that'd be nice. I mean, Florida hasn't had many first round picks. Obviously, the back-to-back national title team had 3 of the first 9. But, I mean, Neil Walk 100 years ago, they haven't had that, Brad Beal, but he was a one guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to call Jason Williams white chocolate a Gator. He played 20 games.
Right.
He played more games at Marshall than he did at Florida. So, Florida hasn't had that many high picks NBA guys, David Lee and guys like that. As a matter of fact, Gator basketball, all-time most decorated NBA player probably now is Al Horford.
Oh, I'd say so.
As long as he's hung around.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's won titles. Never a superstar, but a really good player for a long time.
Made hundreds of millions.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
And
great
hundreds
career.
of millions. Again, Brad Beal, one-year guy.
Brad Beal, probably the most talented.
Talented, maybe, yeah. Way back when, but of course Florida exonerated him from the record books. Vernon Maxwell was a really good player in the late 80s. Supposedly, Jordan would reference Vernon Maxwell as the toughest defender he ever faced. Just a real good athlete.
There you go.
Vernon Maxwell also one of, I bet you there's only like nine guys, eight or nine guys in the history of the NBA. Vernon Maxwell's one of them. 30 points in a quarter. You know how hard that is to do?
Yeah, I do.
30 in a quarter. Wow.
A lot.
Wow. Speaking of quarters, college basketball.
Okay.
See how I tied that in?
I did.
Word is college basketball, men's, is really close to going quarters.
Okay.
Instead of 2 halves. College basketball, men, women about 8-9 years ago went 4 quarters. Every basketball in almost the world, I think, is quarters except men's basketball.
Right.
College men's basketball, they do 20-minute halves. The word is they're close to changing that. I can't remember what the argument was to keep it in halves, but most of the coaches, they want it. They want it because it's one more
timeout
stoppage.
Yeah.
You heard Coach Martin say that, but it will be weird if it's implemented because college basketball you're kind of used to
halves.
Yeah, halves.
Yeah.
2 20-minute halves.
Mm-hmm.
But and I guess will they go 4 10-minute quarters is what they'll do. I don't think women play. Do women play 40 minutes or less than that? College basketball. I don't know. But it will be weird to get used to. It'll be hard to get used to.
Yeah.
A little bit. Do you ever think? I haven't put a whole lot of thought in this, but it just hit me.
4 10s.
They do play the same amount. So yeah, it looks like men's college basketball will soon. It may be too late for this coming year, but they'll go four 10-minute quarters, and then I don't think any group in basketball will play halves anymore.
Yeah.
So see you later, halves.
That'll be the end of that.
See you later, halves. Do you think? I hope what I'm going to say doesn't happen.
Okay.
Do you think college basketball will ever go to 6 fouls? NBA is 6 fouls, right?
Yes, NBA 6. I would say no.
I don't think
I think it goes to like the 1 foot in type thing.
Maybe. I don't think there's
different.
a big problem with men's college basketball. Man, the stars are fouling out, and I do like the I'm much more of a sports traditionalist than some people. Baseball, I prefer the pitcher to bat. I prefer the manager to have to make decisions. With 5 fouls in college basketball, I think your head coach has got to make some decisions.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to make some tough. Gosh darn, we're down 9.
Absolutely.
He just got his 4th with 8 minutes to go. What do we?
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, I think 6 is a dumb number.
Yeah.
Like 5 is,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like one hand.
I'm with you. One hand. Casey, you may be aware of this, but speaking of the NBA and some really dumb, and all of sports has had some dumb moments and dumb rules that, you just got to try it and work it out and take it out or add to it or subtract to it. Did you know that there was a period, probably 3 or 4 years, the NBA had a period where, I can't remember how it would happen, but there was a fouling situation where the guy going to the line would have 3 to make 2. Had you ever heard that?
I think I have.
You would get 3 free throws to make 2. If you made your first 2, great. But if you made 1, missed 1, or missed 2, you still got a 3rd.
That's dumb.
It was crazy. And we're talking as recent as probably the early 80s.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah. 3 to make 2 was nuts.
It is nice.
I'm not so sure anything was more nuts for the decades that the NFL, all the way through the early 70s, the NFL had the goalpost on the goal line.
Yeah, that was dumb.
It was in play.
Yeah.
And no matter what happened, if your pass hit it, if a kick hit it, if a linebacker trying to scrape down the line ran into it, it's just rub of the green. It was just, yeah.
Dumb.
How about that? The goalpost was on, and there was a period where college football was like that as well. They changed it years ago before the NFL did.
Good idea.
I
think the Canadian Football League still does it.
I think they do.
How dumb.
And don't they have a 20-yard end zone? Yeah, it's crazy, like 20-yard end zone.
I've never watched it.
There's a goalpost and then 20 yards of end zone.
It just doesn't make much sense.
I don't know. All right, let's take another break. We'll come back, reset, hopefully have Brent Beaird. Not a whole lot of early afternoon baseball. One game is in the bottom of the 8th inning. Seattle leads the Cubs. Yes, 6-4. We'll talk about that. I've got some baseball news and notes, including, look out, did you hear what Cags did yesterday?
Is this the home run?
Whoa. You just watch your filthy mouth. The home runs.
Oh.
Put an S on that, my man.
Okay.
That's a tease for the next segment.
It wasn't much of a tease. I think people can understand what happened.
He hit 2 yesterday.
There goes the tease.
Look out, baby. Look out. Major League Baseball talk on the other side. Young and Norvelle continues after this timeout.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School. Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School. Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
The rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum, with We Are Martyr rolling off our tongues. Never will we roam, for we know our place is home. Where the ocean meets the skies, we be sailing. Where the ocean meets the skies, we be sailing.
Hope to have Brent Beaird in the second hour on some college sports stuff to talk about. We'll get back to the College World Series. Got some Major League Baseball talk to kick around here for a few minutes. Terry Norvelle here on a Friday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. Casey's scheduled to go out offshore fishing.
Oh, that's right.
Tomorrow.
Why?
I don't fish.
Okay.
I don't want to touch a slimy, scaly fish.
Okay.
They smell to me.
Okay.
But my buddy has been inviting me over and over for a long time. Got a boat, big fisherman, and they're going out tomorrow. So I have to be at the, supposedly, I guess we are shoving off. Does that make sense? Shoving off the boat, off the dock there, 6 a.m.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So earlier today, we were going over some stuff because I've got questions.
Sure.
Number one.
How far are you going?
How long are we going to be out there?
Okay.
He says, because, I don't want to be trapped out there.
Well, that's kind of...
He says we'll come back. It sounds like we're going to be out there 6-ish hours.
Yeah.
But he said definitely we'll get back before the storms, which that made me a little uneasy.
It is, as it should.
Yeah, but...
knowing that that's possible.
So 6 a.m. Number two, I said, Jeff... will there be food on the boat?
That's a good question.
And he said there should be. They generally bring some food, but I think I'm gonna.
Should is not a good.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna back that up with. I'm gonna make
some
a few
food.
sandwiches.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah. Number three, he said. I said, well, is there any shade? He said, make sure you wear a hat. So
you're cooked.
Not a lot of shade, but I'm gonna wear a long sleeve and all.
So you're gonna have sunburn.
Yeah, but I'm going to bring some stuff there, some sunscreen and all. And he then went on to say, yeah, well, I said, well, will there be beer and water on the vessel?
Okay.
And he said, yes. But I may have to cover that as well, just in
case.
Yeah. And then he said, I may not have a lot of time to drink said beer because I'll be busy reeling fish in. And I went, whoa. My plan is not to do any
work
or fish on this fishing excursion. I'm not planning on fishing.
Okay.
And the thought of reeling in and he's like, they may pull you in, he said.
It happens.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You think that could happen?
It does happen.
I'm not the biggest guy going,
It could take you.
I also had to ask him this question. These questions were hitting me a lot because I'm not much of a fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
I said, all right, Jeff, sounds like we're going to go out there. There's 2 other guys, so it'll be 4 of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I kind of know my old man Bladder.
Yep.
What's the deal with when I have to go to the bathroom? And
I
he
think
said,
you know the answer.
Well, he answered first. He said, oh, there, and get this, Casey. Oh, yeah, and it's kind of a new boat.
Uh-huh.
It's a real fancy boat, new. He said, oh, yeah, there's a bathroom. But nobody can use the on-boat bathroom. He made it sound like it's just taboo. I'm like, why the hell do you have a bathroom? He said, no, you just kind of, Casey, any kids listen,
family show.
Off the side of the boat, you just kind of.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was the answer.
And then, Casey.
Uh-huh.
I'm not predicting this because I do things early in the morning to hopefully take care. I said, well, what about the other
situation
using of bathroom? He said, yeah, well, if that happens, you just dive in. Does that make sense? You just kind of dive in.
I mean, it's that or
yeah.
You
dive in. So
I would not dive in, though.
Neither one of those made me real happy. And again, I went back to the boat with its own bathroom, but he said it's much like people's, he said much like a lot of individuals' RVs.
Yeah.
They've got bathrooms, but you always kind of try and use the bathrooms out.
Sure.
So
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Why are you going?
Well, he's been inviting me for a long time. I've absolutely got nothing to do tomorrow.
Why don't you fake polio or something?
It's a good idea. That may happen when I look over that clock and it starts going at 4.
4?
I got to be there at 6, and I got to ride the ferry.
What are you doing for 2? Okay.
Well, I got to ride the ferry. I've probably got to make a lunch.
You do have to make food.
I'm going to obviously let Sweet Penny out.
Sure.
Put her some food down. I did ask another question.
Okay.
I said, and I asked this question with an assumption already. I probably shouldn't have done this. I said, I said, how many bikini-clad women will be on the boat?
Sounds like 0.
And he said 0.
Yeah.
0. That one hurt.
So you didn't ask the question, how far away from land are we getting?
Yes. And he said, I think he said we'll just for about a good hour maybe to get out there.
Oh.
And he said the water, I don't know if he was kidding me or just making me scared, 130 feet deep will be.
No, that's real.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, way out. And they are fishing for, I think grouper. Does that sound right?
That could be right.
And I still to this day don't understand how do you dictate what's going to bite your hook?
There is a method to the madness. I don't know it enough to explain it to you, but there is a method.
And he got mad at me because I said, well, if I'm going to have to stop this evening to get some lunch meat and stuff to make me some sandwiches, I said, Jeff, should I go by the little, where I buy my dog food? It's a full pet place, I said, should I go by there and buy some fish food?
You don't like that.
And, because you know what I'm thinking.
Sprinkle
it, yeah. I think they call that, us fishermen, we call that chumming the water.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Yeah, he said, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I was going on my own dime. I was going to buy one of those.
Trying to help the team.
For goldfish and things.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
I'm stuck now. Now,
if I were you, I wouldn't go.
He just sent me a thing back, and he told me this when I left him a few minutes ago before the show. We were putting.
I'd step on a hanger or something.
Yeah. He said, well, listen, my man. And there's 4 of us going. The boat can hold 8, but there's 4 of us going. And he makes it sound like you got to have this thing planned and everybody's got blah, 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 blah. He's like, okay, you are now part of the crew. And he just sent me a text. Don't forget now, 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
The other issue is, the ferry just broke or whatever.
Yeah, is it working again?
They say it is.
You're going to take that risk?
He said it is, and he's ridden it because he lives just off Heckscher Drive.
Sure.
Now, of course, I live in Mayport, which I have an area called Dutton Island that has, when I go for a run, there's water. Of course, being Terry, I said, well, if you got a boat and I live near water, can't you come pick me up? Hey, Casey, didn't like that.
Didn't like that.
He didn't like that at all. It made perfect sense to me.
It does. I mean, I can see the water.
Yeah.
Your boat's in the water.
You're in the water. I see the water.
Just loop around.
Yeah, honk, honk,
It's like a cul-de-sac. Just loop around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going to school, right? Honk, honk, there's a bus.
He didn't like that.
Anyway,
yeah, I wouldn't go, man.
I'm going to go. He's been, he's invited me a million times.
Is he a fisherman for work?
Oh, no, but he's...
So this is a fun activity.
Oh, yeah, and he's, they're into it, man.
So an hour in, an hour out for fun.
Yeah, but we'll be out there like 6 hours, I think.
So 8 hours is the day.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, I would step on a hanger.
Yeah, and I also asked him, I was
Or
like,
catch the flu.
When we're out there, like, can we go ride up some other boats and talk to other people? It's not. He said, no, Terry, that's called pleasure boating. I said, that sounds
I'm pretty sure you're going to be out there with the ocean blue.
Yeah, I was like, well, can we see some other people and ride over to them and say, hey, what are y'all doing?
No.
Yeah. He said, no, that's called pleasure boating. I thought, well, I don't want to go on unpleasure boating, right?
Yeah. I mean, not to worry you anymore, but
offshore fishing.
You do realize you'll never be found if something goes wrong.
I know.
Never again.
Oh, I found this out too. When you go out there, obviously you've heard fishing guys tell you, boating guys, it's an expensive hobby. The fuel is very expensive.
Yeah.
Fuel. So I was like asking about the fuel and all. And I said, well, if we go out there for an hour, we drop the anchor and we start fishing, why are we going to burn all the fuel? He goes, you never cut off the engine. And I said, why? And he made a good point. He said, if you're 2 hours offshore
might not come back
and
on.
you cut the engine off, what if it doesn't start back up?
Yeah, you die.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I didn't like that answer.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of things adding up
to
not going.
Yeah. I didn't like that answer. I can't lie. I can't lie. But he did say also that if it's hot and I get real hot, you can just dive in.
I would not do that.
And here's the thing. And he's got a ladder that you can climb back up. But he did say when you go out that far, there are sharks all over.
Yes.
So if I dive in, I'm gonna be like a cat diving in.
Like I can't explain. Like, do not do that.
Yeah. But if I get hot, I'm coming in hot.
Terry, they will never find you.
I know. I'm thinking about putting a little GPS on my ankle.
They'll eat that too. Listen.
I'm going, man. I'm
known
going.
Action Sports Jack's contributor Austin Lane, his buddy, is a marine biologist.
Oh boy,
who spends weeks, if not months, underwater offshore at any given time. He's discovered multiple things that they did not know existed.
What?
And yes, this is real, and comes back with crazy stories that we can't even share about what they find in the bottom of the ocean.
We still don't know what's there.
So I'm telling you right now, do not go.
I gotta go, man.
But if you do go, don't get off the boat.
I just don't want to hear the famous. Oh, by the way, this ties in perfect. I just don't want to hear the famous line from the movie Jaws, which, by the way, 50 years old today.
How about that?
We're gonna need a bigger boat. I don't want to hear that. Remember when he said that?
I do. I would guess though, if in this day and age, if somebody assessed that you were kind of cooked and needed a bigger boat, I'd imagine you wouldn't say it.
You would think.
Like if I was the captain and I saw how that was playing out, I'd be like, meh.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Death.
You would think. How about that? Jaws was 50 years ago today. The original.
It's a good film.
It is a pretty good movie.
Stands the test of time.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
You're in trouble.
And Jeff, that's my buddy. He said, yes, we will catch, or they will.
So you're not gonna do anything.
My plan is not to do a whole lot of anything.
You're not gonna cast a rod.
I'm hoping not. No.
Not once.
I don't want to do that.
Terry, you know how long 6 hours is?
I asked him, because I want to help. I don't want to be a burden. I said, well, when I'm heading out tomorrow, or even this evening when I leave the show, should I swing by and just buy me a cane pole and a bobber? He said, no, don't do that.
No, it's not that simple.
I wanted to help, but no. I don't want to cast. Because here's the deal with casting, I think. If I...
Yep.
And it goes way out there, I got to reel that sucker in at some point.
Yes, you probably right away.
Yeah. Hey, just hit me. Do they put little motors on those things? Why wouldn't they put a little motor in that.
Probably has to do with sound, would be my guess.
Yes. Oh, he did say, because Casey, I have a little trouble being quiet.
I've learned.
I said, well, listen, I swear to God, I asked him this too. I go, hey, Jeff, listen, tomorrow I'm going. I gotta be quiet because we're fishing. He goes, no, that's a different type of fishing.
Yes.
He said noisy out there and all, and yeah. He said, no, you don't have to be.
I wouldn't go, Terry.
I gotta go, man.
I think you should get out of it.
I gotta go. I am in.
How good of a friend is this?
A good friend. Good friend.
Really good?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, and then he just sent me a thing.
Like if you never talk to him again, it would be unfortunate?
Yeah, it'd suck for him, but.
Right, so I think you just get out of it.
Listen, this was.
Flat tire.
This was just a couple of minutes ago.
Ran out of gas. Like, I think all of these are reasonable excuses.
He says, leaving at 6.
No.
You are part of the crew. I'm in.
You could still get out, though.
Now, I did say, one of my, I've got a couple of things I've asked for. The main thing I asked for, I said, all I want to do, every time I step on, I want to hear, Terry's on the bridge?
No.
Isn't that cool? You're the captain on the bridge? Captain Terry on the bridge?
You're not the captain.
I think it's called the bridge. I don't think it's brig, because I'll be in prison if I get in the brig, right? The brig is the jailhouse on the boat, right?
I've never been.
Yeah. Captain on the bridge?
So you want to be the captain, but you don't want to fish, cast, touch fish, drive the boat.
Hold on. Yes.
Would you drive the boat?
Yes, I did ask him, can I drive the boat?
What'd he say?
Yes.
Okay. It's looking up.
Yeah.
That'll take 5 minutes of the 6 hours. What are you going to do for the other 5?
I'm going to do a gangsta lean and everything, man.
No.
It's going to be great.
No, you're not.
It's going to be great.
In the segue of segues, do you think Brent Beaird is an offshore fisherman?
Let's go ahead and get Brent on. Brent Beaird going fishing tomorrow or going on an offshore boat. I'm not going to do any fishing, I hope.
Yeah.
I think I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, they call it, Brent Beaird.
Well, I understand that. In the
You
great
want-
state of
you wanna go?
Alabama, my fishing career ended when I tried to cast and the hook came back and the lure and caught right into my between my index finger and my thumb.
So you caught yourself.
I've still got the mark from that, and that I was under 10 years old when that happened.
Oh, so Brent Beaird, you cast and you caught Brent Beaird.
That's right.
You caught Brent Beaird. Yeah, so my buddy's been inviting me forever. I don't plan on doing a whole lot of anything except maybe drinking, and I'm looking for mermaids. He said I could. He said if I keep a keen eye, I might see a mermaid.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely.
He said he said the mermaid is in the same vicinity of the Skype. You know the Skype.
Yes.
He said we're going to go Skype hunting and mermaid hunting tomorrow.
Yes.
I said, all right, I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah. Everybody's done that at some point. So be sure you got your Sex Panther cologne on before you go.
No doubt. Brent Beaird, you've got stuff. I want to throw a few things at you. Had a thought this morning. Put it down for our show. Our big 4 college programs we follow: Florida State, Georgia, Miami. I thought to myself, what are each one of those programs? What is their big summer project? And I'll throw you my thought process, and I want you to jump in anything that keys you, or we can just move right on. Big summer project, University of Florida football program. Has Billy Napier improved his game?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for Florida football. Has Billy Napier, can he improve his in-game game?
Yes. Yes.
That's one. Hold that. Number 2, I think FSU's biggest summer project is Castellanos a quality enough quarterback. I think that's 2. Number 3 for the Georgia Bulldogs, I think their summer project, can they pitch it and catch it better?
Yeah.
I just think when Georgia, who's going to be a great team again, when they get playing other good teams, if they can't pitch it any better and catch it, it's hard to beat the Ohio States and the Alabamas one-dimensional. And they had trouble pitching and catching. And Miami, I've got their big summer project, I think, is stop somebody on defense.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
stop
yes.
somebody on defense. I don't know if any of those pique your interest at all. Jump in anywhere you might.
Oh yeah, yeah. I talked about this on TV this week too.
Okay.
I start with Miami, and you're right about that. The Cheyenne Brown is a local kid, is in that secondary. He's really good. The rest of them aren't very tested. To your point, Miami allowed 30 points or more in 5 of 8 ACC games.
Ouch. ACC games. Ooh.
And listen, we talked about this in November. Terry, they were terrible defensively in November. That's really why they went south at that point too. No question about Castellanos for
FSU. Yeah,
FSU. Can he throw the ball? That's the thing that I want to know is whether he can. I mean, they're big games that are going to matter to them, particularly the Alabama game is going to be huge. They've got to have some momentum early on. They need some kind of confidence from coming from somewhere, frankly. And they've got guys like Squirrel White from Tennessee and Rodell Williams from Alabama. I mean, are those guys really good? Are those guys game breakers and healthy enough to play?
Yeah.
So, that's your reality. Georgia's situation, and I think you did well on all 4 of these. But people don't realize yet how young Georgia is. Georgia is incredibly inexperienced. Now, they've still got dudes, and that they'll be okay. But to your point, that wide receiver crew for Georgia last year, they dropped 30 passes. I don't know how you do that. I mean, Terry, that's basically 2 a game, if not 3. So, and we think Gunnar Stockton's a guy. I think he'll do okay. Nate Frazier is a good running back.
Yeah.
The offensive line has to be better. It'll be healthy. But, can they Zechariah Branch, the kid from USC, if you're a wide receiver and you can't do anything at USC,
I know.
Can you do any better? As a receiver at UCLA?
Yeah.
Noah Thomas comes over from A&M, and hopefully he's going to help them with that. So that Georgia situation, but Terry, again, as you and I've talked, they've got Tennessee early and Alabama early in September.
And that is tough. You go back to Georgia and their pass catchers just dropping balls. The other concerning thing is those were guys they handpicked and brought in, and they really didn't have catching problems. But when they got to Athens, for some reason, these were handpicked.
Yes.
We talked about Dominic Lovett and Ra Thomas.
Yeah.
These guys, these guys caught everything at their other schools.
They did.
What the hell happened? And then, I do think Florida has really improved the talent level on their roster.
Yes.
And it looks like if the majority of these guys that are committing to Billy Napier right now, if they go ahead and sign in December, they've got a lot of talent. My big concern, why I can't sign off on Florida being a playoff team, I got to see if Billy Napier has gone to coaching camp, or you know what I mean by coaching camp.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
If Billy Napier, I think, is the one member of the Florida football program that has to improve his game day performance the most for Florida to get anywhere near where they want to go.
Yeah.
He's got to be better, man. He struggles in game.
And look, they really are without excuse as far as they've got the talent. They may have the best offensive line led by Jake Slaughter.
Yeah.
In the league. The ball kid at running backs is one of the better ones.
Nice back.
Frankly, and I think the Wilson brothers, shall we say, Dallas and his cohort there.
Yeah, Eugene.
I think Eugene are a step up with that. I think their front line on the defensive side of the ball with Sapp and Caleb Banks could be really good.
I'm with you.
But listen, I said this week on TV, And I'm going to say it until it's improved. I know people think this is a minor thing, but Terry, you and I've been on this for a couple of years now, and I'm sorry, but until they get that special teams working for them instead of working against them, look, they could be Terry. They could score 60 points in a game, but still lose if they can't get the special teams on the field when they need to do it.
Yeah, it's just been terrible to watch junior high school execution be fumbled.
Yes.
On those special teams. Too many men on the field, not enough men on the field. A Chinese fire drill when you knew a field goal was coming up. And then we get back to Napier. All that talent's great, but if he continues to run the ball down somebody's throat and then inexplicably say, "Let's pass the next two series,"
Right.
And get sacked, or run a bootleg with a fifth string quarterback turning his back to the line of scrimmage against Jared Verse, and those guys, or on and on. His feel for the game has been terrible. His play calling has been questionable. His feel for the game. I don't know this, and I've tried to ask around a little bit. I'm hoping that Bubba Spurrier and Russ Callaway could help him. If he gives those guys,
I agree.
But he's got to give them. He's got to give them some leash. He's got to let them. He's got to let them coach. I look at Napier, and I think he's worse than what I'm going to point out. But right now, he reminds me a little bit of before Kirby Smart at Georgia got really winning. Kirby had to get out of his own way.
Yeah.
His Kirby Smart's biggest issue year 3 and 4 were he was a little Napoleon dictator. He wanted to run every aspect. He didn't have. Remember, he made those fake punt calls and that 4th and 1 against Vanderbilt. Instead of giving the ball to Nick Chubb or Sony Michel, he gave it to the little 5'7" receiver. That was him making that call. Well, he finally got out of his own way. I don't know if Billy Napier has or can do that.
Well, and listen, here's your defining stretch here. At LSU, at Miami, a week off, then Texas, and then at A&M. That's 3 out of 4 on the road. Terry, right now, would they sign a contract for 2 and 2?
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
In a heartbeat. Yes. Then hope you lose one more at most.
Yes.
And take your chances with 9 and 3. Maybe you're ranked 11th in the country and you sneak into the playoff.
Now look, if they're 2 and 2, then that they beat Mississippi State. I'm still not sure they've got the confidence to beat Georgia. So that would be your loss.
Sure.
So could they win at Kentucky, at Ole Miss? I think they'll beat Tennessee. Listen, we talk about this later, but a lot of people now think, I'm hearing this and heard it from a couple of college football guys that I trust today. They don't think Tennessee's even going to be ranked this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not picking on the Vols, and nor you. I do think Tennessee takes, and this would be even if the Nico stuff didn't happen.
Correct.
I think Tennessee takes a step back, a little step back this year. With that said, and you asked me, or you pointed out Texas A&M on that Florida schedule. The University of Florida, with a coach in his 4th year, with what we think he has talent-wise, certainly should beat second-year Mike Elko at A&M.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
I don't care if that's
Yes.
at College Station.
Yes.
I don't care if that's on the middle of their campus.
Yes.
And they should beat a Tennessee team in Gainesville that I think is not going to be the Tennessee team they have been in the last 2 or 3 years. Would you agree? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got a better roster than Kentucky. Look, but Terry, Kentucky may be 5 and 7 or 4 and 8.
I'm with you. I think this is a big step back for Kentucky.
Yeah, Calzada, I don't have a lot of confidence in. I mean, he's had it 2 times in the league and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So But I will tell you this: if they're 9-3 with that schedule, I don't care what people say with the committee. If they're 9-3 with that schedule, if the committee takes into consideration the strength of schedule as they should, Florida should be in the playoffs.
And I'm with you there. And damn, Scott Strickland will give him an extension. That'll be an extension. Brent, I know you've got a couple things. We've got a couple of meetings that are going on or coming up.
Yes.
I want to throw one thing out that came out today in college football, and I think this is a byproduct of we really need the structure and the guide rails to get put in place. We don't have them because I don't want to see this in the future. Wisconsin sues Miami for tampering with a transfer. Okay, I'm fine with one program having some issues, but I don't want program to sue program.
No.
I want program to take a grievance to a governing body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big difference. I hate the way this looks right now. And once we get we don't have a governing body.
No.
So Wisconsin has to sue Miami. I want that to go away. We need a governing body to take it and make a third-party ruling.
Well, if the NCAA was who they think they are or who think they were, their enforcement wing would 20 years ago they would have dealt with that.
Yeah.
It would have never even gotten to a thought process.
They've named the enforcement guy for Major League Baseball, but it's all being put together in terms of NIL and enforcement and watchdog. It's just not there yet. So you've got Wisconsin sues Miami instead of, I want to see NCAA looking at Miami for possible tampering.
Yeah.
And then you can name Wisconsin a little bit, but it just doesn't look. You just don't want Alabama sues Mississippi State, Ole Miss sues Tennessee, Tennessee sues Ohio State. I can't wait till the structure is put in place for college athletics. We need.
Well, I think what you're saying is, if you had for lack of a better word, if you had an overall commissioner or a czar, that's one of those times where behind closed doors, your commissioner or czar could get both those folks on the phone in a virtual and say, guys, we're not suing each other. This is not going to work. We're going to deal with this in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's how that needs to be handled instead of having all this garbage in the press the way they have.
Because you just generally don't see New York Jets suing Minnesota Vikings over Tampa. You see NFL slaps Jets for $500,000 on the wrist for you don't want to see Jaguars suing Saints over free agency tampering or something like that. You just don't want to see that. Brent, I'm sure you've got some stuff, but I want to lead you into we've got some more meetings and things getting tabled. Anything we need to that we don't already know that's getting tabled? We just are waiting to hear 442 and this and that.
Well, I think what we need to talk about or kind of the timetable here and what we've got with this. Now, if we need to go to break,
go ahead. We're fine.
After that, here's several things brewing right now, and the main thing I need people to understand here is, Terry, compared to when you and I have talked about this for years, we actually have a deadline, and the deadline is July 1st. And what this means is that, and as you know, that's when the money's going to drop.
Yeah.
On July the 1st. Now, I'm going to give a broad outline here, and we can take this wherever you want to take it.
Okay.
But because we've got the July 1st, there are several things going on here. Is they're finally dealing, and I know we've touched on this for years, but this is something they had to do. They're finally dealing with the calendar. That they've made their own mistakes with this calendar.
Really,
and they've made the problems on this calendar by putting every blooming thing they could in December.
Yeah.
And finally they realized they've made a mistake with that. So, in essence, here's some of the stuff that's going on. One is, and we've talked about this for a while, but I think this is actually going to become a reality. They're going to OTAs sooner than later. And what that's going to mean is they're actually going to have some OTA practices in May and June. May and June is what we're talking about here.
How about that?
Now that's going to now if they're smart, I think they are. They would open some of that up to the public.
Agreed.
And they would get people with TV cameras who are willing to be able to cover that. Is one thing. The other thing that's going to happen is, and you and I, I'm telling you, you and I have talked about this since we've been together in media. They're about to move signing day where it needs to be.
Great.
And what they've said is behind closed doors is when this July 1st date comes up and you've got this, and look, my understanding is every July 1, is kind of your cycle here.
I got you.
Okay. So signing day, what they're saying is there's no way in the world they want signing day in December and February anymore. Yeah. They want signing day in the summer.
I've heard, yeah.
Maybe
August. Yeah, August or so.
And August 1 may be your signing day. Okay.
How about that? That's different.
And here's what's changed with that. And Florida's taking advantage of this. The official visits now have actually moved from January to June. I know you've noticed that because that's one of the reasons Florida has done so well.
Yep, they're raking them in.
So the thing that's happening here is, and a lot of these officials have said behind the scenes too, is, well, these kids can visit now in June. Why can't they go ahead and sign?
Yeah.
Since they know where they're probably going in July, August, or early September. Now, you and I have talked for years without getting too deep into this about, well, when's the perfect time to have signing day? Well, the perfect time to have signing days is before the season begins. Look, I wouldn't have any trouble keeping it in February, but that's one of the huge things that's going to happen is they're going to move signing day out of December and out of February.
I can live with that with regard to, as you said, visiting now can be through June, like we're in right now, very heavy in June.
Right.
And most of your recruits, when they publicly commit, not all of them, but most of them follow through on that commitment. I would say it's probably 90-10.
Yeah.
Since we've been following this. Yeah. That when you commit publicly, there's some that change. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But if that's the case, if you've tripped in May, June, gone to your trips, and you're a hotshot recruit, and you make a commitment in June, you're 90% probably going to sign with that school in December anyway. Why not get it out of the way? Yeah. Why not go ahead and knock it out of the way 6 weeks later and be done with it? The signing period in December does get buried too.
It does.
You're coming up. The conference championship games ended. The tournament's about to start now. The holidays, it gets buried. I also loved what you said, and I've seen it too. Giving the option to have OTAs May, June.
Yeah.
Because,
absolutely.
This is that little dead period we're in right now.
Exactly.
But it would be kind of cool if 40 schools still have 4 practices and we get a little media coverage on that because, March Madness gets us all the way through April.
Mm-hmm.
And college baseball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it'd be fun to have a little something right now. And then all we got to do is get through 6 weeks.
Yeah, and they need the publicity for it too. Okay, here's number 3, and this is probably the biggest one of all on the calendar, and because there are this is a real hot button issue, which obviously is the portal. The Big Ten wants to have the portal in the spring because, and you go into an institution of higher learning, well, you appreciate this.
Sure.
The Big Ten's on the quarter system. And now people think, well, this is no big deal. Well, it is.
It is a big deal. It's multiple weeks.
Yes, because because your presidents and your chancellors get involved with this, and they make it a big deal.
Yeah.
So here's what's going on, and they've got to compromise with this somehow. The presidents and chancellors want it where it is in April, but again, you've got too much poaching, and you've got too much water down spring games and things of that nature. Now the SEC are vehemently against that, and they want it in January, early January, where they could get it out of the way, have 10 days, and go from there. So, so the port. I know you get this. The portal is humongous right now in deciding what they're going to do for this. And I don't think we'll have two anymore. I think we'll just have one.
I'm with you to it. But I'll tell you one thing. The SEC and the Big Ten have, over the last 18 months to 2 years, they've shown great solidarity. This is one of the few things that's wrinkled the put a wrinkle in the ointment here, and it'll work itself out. But yeah, it's a little mess. When you mention some schools, not many, but some schools are on the quarter system.
Yes.
Instead of your standard semester, I always and people that may not realize. That's a several week difference, and
it is.
I don't know why, but UCLA has always stood out to me as one of the schools on the quarter system. So I know there have been years where UCLA had a big opening season game with Tennessee in early September, or Texas A&M, or a school like UCLA on the quarter systems. It's not uncommon if the schedule falls. They could have 2, sometimes 3 home games before the month of September starts.
Yes.
And their students aren't even back to class yet.
Well,
and you hate that. You hate that.
And listen, let's bring it closer to home. Years ago, Auburn was on the quarter system.
I didn't remember that, really.
Yes. Yeah. And when Terry, you may, and I bet you will when I say this, when Pat Dye was coaching, Auburn would have maybe, Terry, they would not actually start back to school until like September the 21st.
Yes, I'm talking 3 weeks. 3 weeks in.
Yes, yeah. And to your point, now here's the advantage on the quarter system. If you're on the quarter system, Pat Dye basically had another spring.
Yeah.
Or another fall camp is what he did, because the players the first 3 weeks of September didn't have to go to school.
Yeah, they didn't have to go to school, but you hate to if you don't have a home game until the 4th Saturday in September. That's punishing your team. You don't want to say, well, just go on the road, but you don't want to give away too many home games without any kids on campus.
Oh, yeah. Your student section's not there.
Yeah, it's not there. Brent, hang tight. Grab a couple more notes. We'll take a break, come back, start wrapping things up. If you can hang out. Brent Beaird right here on the Young and Norvelle Show.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the note for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
All right, let me welcome you back and tell you the best basketball camp in our area is ongoing. Several more weeks of the Jacksonville Basketball Academy. Find out everything that you need to know about signing up your basketball player. Grades 3 through high school, every level, wherever your basketball player is trying to get their game to. You have a camp that will be designed for that. Footwork, shooting, understanding the game, teamwork, everything you need to know to improve your basketball game. If you've got a basketball player in your life and you want to find out more information about the camps in our area, go to their website. Just Google Jacksonville Basketball Academy.com. Brent Beaird, real quick, I know you've got a couple more things to get to before we get out of here. Let me hit a couple of Major League Baseball news and notes. Jack Caglione, good for him. He's hit the ball hard a lot, but he has had very little to show for it. He has 2 home runs yesterday. He goes yard twice, including one well over 400 feet. Yesterday, Paul Skeens did some Paul Skeens things again. He has another no decision, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He did walk 5, struck out 9. His ERA, got a no decision, climbed up to 1.85. Paul Skeens. Don't look now, but the Braves, they swept the Mets, and they've got the Marlins. So the Braves can put a little streak together this weekend. The Nats snapped an 11-game losing streak. And speaking of don't look now, boy, the Mets are scuffling just like the Yankees, but the Mets, 6 losses in a row, and they open up a series this weekend tonight at Philadelphia. The Phillies have tied them now. They're back locked up. So a lot of Major League Baseball stuff, as you would expect, as we are really, I'm going to say we're in the middle of summer, even though, did you know today is the first day of summer?
Yes. It's amazing. It's the longest day of the year.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? All right, Brent, we've got a few minutes left. If you got a couple additional college news and notes we need to be aware of, fire away.
Yeah, and again, some meeting stuff. This came out a few minutes ago. Commissioners are pondering, and I don't know what's hard about this, are pondering moving week 1 from week 1 to week 0 and making it permanent. I mean, as you like to say, and I agree with you, is we're not exactly splitting the atom
here. Yeah.
There's a lot of this stuff that could be that. Now look, you and I both know they need some flexibility, do they not, in this calendar, in this schedule?
I agree.
And look, I'm not happy that people are going to be playing ball in the middle of August, but the reality is, Terry, don't you have to trade a little bit of something if you're going to be playing in the middle of January?
Yeah, you really do. You really do. And again, that is so. They'll have to have 5 meetings and release 5 different releases and talk. Dude, start the schedule where you want it. I don't care if you call it week 0, week 1.
Right.
Put it where it's supposed to be and get going. Brent, I know you got some other stuff. Did we talk about, and I think you agree, I love college baseball, but this bad boy, it'll go to at least June 22nd, no, maybe June 23rd.
Really?
That's just too deep in the sports calendar. I mean, the college sports athletic calendar starts in August. Well, here is baseball ending. I mean, we're weeks away from August.
We are. We really are.
It really lasts too long. I don't know what the answer is. If you pull the season back, that punishes the northern schools. Do you whack away some of the non-conference games? Do you need to play 25 non-conference games? Can you play 15 and that way get the schedule a little more? I don't know. But are you obviously I'm pulling for LSU, but the darling for the country is going to be Coastal Carolina, 26 in a row.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina won.
Yeah, they're good.
Now, what LSU really needs to do is if they were to beat Carolina and snap that winning streak, which is what, 25 games or something?
I think 26 now. Yeah.
Yeah. If they did that made the mindset may change for Coastal Carolina. But look, that's a good club, Terry. I mean, they've got what? They don't have just one. They've got 3 or 4 pitchers.
Yeah, they're good.
That they can play small ball if they need to be able to do it along that line. And listen, I have no explanation for this. Please, I hope you do. How in the world did LSU come back and beat Arkansas the other night?
Oh, it was so painful to watch from the Arkansas perspective. And, we've said this. A little bit of it is, man, LSU – you got to drive a stake in their heart when it comes to college baseball.
Really
I mean, they really just something about postseason baseball. They really turn it on. But oh my God, knowing Arkansas's history too, that was so painful to watch the way that played out.
It really was. And listen, I thought when they were 4-1 or whatever that was, that thing would have been over. Now, a lot of people may not remember this, but one of the greatest things that the college baseball and the Major League Baseball did is they moved the Major League Baseball draft away from you remember this.
It was horrible.
Because I remember that even the Florida coaches were talking about this. All the coaches complained. People may not realize this, but the Major League draft was this. Basically, help me on this. Was the same week as the College World Series.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was
inexcusable.
And there was a period when it was during the World Series for a while. Not a long time. They've come to their senses, but there was a period there wasn't that long ago that round 1 would be like on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Of the College World Series.
Yes.
And I can vividly remember. And it would start like on that Tuesday at noon, right? I could vividly remember watching that 2:00 game, and one of the storylines, and the camera would follow the guy in the dugout. They would, whoever the guy was, hotshot recruit, and they would catch the minute one of the assistant coaches or team manager or something would get the call and go, Brent. The Cleveland Indians just selected you 4th overall, and they'd get that shot. And during the game, it was awkward It was awkward.
It really was.
The guy's team may be losing 4-0, but he's giving high fives. It was an awkward situation.
Yeah, it was. And listen, and you said and talked about this years ago, and it still is true to this day. When you're in baseball and you're in the College World Series, if you win your first 2 games, you are absolutely golden.
Yep.
And if you do that, let's say you win by Tuesday, you won your games. A lot of time now they've changed the format a little bit now because it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday if necessary. Yeah. But Terry, you remember that. If you won like on Tuesday, you wouldn't play again the Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, you'd get that 2 days off, and play again on Friday. I will say this, I don't like, and Casey and I railed on this the other day, there was not a game yesterday.
Yes.
And there's not a game scheduled for today. Today they built in kind of as rain. So we haven't had a game in 2 days in Omaha. Right. Now, I hate that part of it. The only good part of it is nobody has an excuse now. I mean, two full days, you're going to have all your bullets in your gun pretty much.
Yeah.
But I hate 2 full days taken off. Hate it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the
Well, but doesn't it take away from your broadcast? You've got. ESPN2 probably is going to. I don't know, but they're probably going to show some of the games, but it's not the same thing. I mean, Terry. They ought to have, and I get the Monday night stuff, frankly, but this thing ought to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And be done with it by Sunday.
It is a long son of a gun. It really is. And speaking of long playoffs, we're sitting here in the wrapping up really the second month of NBA playoffs. It's been a good finals, but it is no exaggeration. Yeah. It lasts 2 months. You should not have 2 months of playoffs. I don't care if it's college football, college baseball, the World Series. Brent, couple of minutes left. If you've got a couple things we want to hit.
Yeah, let me say this before we get on the football stuff.
Okay.
Terry, how stupid is the WNBA?
That's a loaded question.
That their best player, look.
It's amazing what they do to her.
I'm just saying I don't watch it. I'm not interested in it. But other people love it, and that's fine. That they have a right to be able to do that. But one thing I do notice is, okay, when you've got one player that is now this would never happen to Michael Jordan, but when you've got a Michael Jordan type player in terms of publicity and ratings and so forth, and they continue to let her be mauled.
It's the damnedest thing.
First of all, she's going in for the shot. They basically just, grab her around the neck, and then somebody pushes her, and then someone comes in and just literally knocks her down. Look, Terry, if you're whoever your lazy, lame commissioner is at that point, whoever did that should have been suspended for a week.
It is the damnedest thing. I'm with you. I see the highlights. I don't watch the games at all.
I don't either.
But Brett, Caitlin Clark's only been in that league like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah,
you've seen that play, quote unquote, that play.
Yes.
50 times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm missing something. It is the damnedest thing that, and this is a raw way to say it. She's your cash cow, man.
Absolutely.
She's your cash cow.
Oh, yeah. And look, I'm not saying you can't commit a hard foul when she's going in to score, but this unmitigated, pathetic crap of just, look, the play had stopped. And this woman comes up to her, who's about twice her size, and just literally just knocks her to the ground. Terry, if you had done that on the street in Jacksonville, Florida, and there was a cop there, you'd have been arrested for assault.
I think the WNBA has several issues. I think one issue is, in the little I watch, I still think I'm qualified because it gets hammered down your throat, right? You can't not watch. I don't care if you're on your social, if you're on TV.
No.
The WNBA has a real angry tinge about it. You watch it, and there's too much arguing and fighting and pushing. I'm like, it hit me a couple months ago. I'm like, we've got enough of that in our world.
Sure we do.
It's got this angerness about it, the WNBA, and I'm like, do they don't see that? They can't try to get that out of their. We've got anger. Sports. You want to get away from that.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Brent. Athletes are going to push and shove here and there, but it happens they're angry in that league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But look, what happened to Clark? I mean, that's a flagrant. If they got this there, that'd have been a flagrant 2 in college basketball.
Sure.
And it would have been a technical foul. And frankly, the 2 or 3 players who were involved with that should have been disciplined and penalized and sent to the bench.
Totally agree. It's a strange man. I'd like to be a fly on the wall when management talks in that league, when they have closed door meetings. I mean, are they? I don't know. It is an odd happenstance.
Terry, and we'll go straight to football. I think that's the problem. I don't think they talk at all.
That's not.
Frankly, but anyway, I had that on my heart, and I thought I'd share that.
Good for you. Got 4 minutes left. Go ahead.
Yeah. Look, now again, what we haven't heard is here's Lord, here's the latest on the playoff expansion is. And I think this is just national media that they're looking for something to write. But I know Nicole Auerbach came out with this today if they can't agree on what to do on go to 14 or 16, let's just keep it at 12. Well, I can tell you right now, and you and I know this, it's not going to be, it won't stay at 12 because Terry, there's no way in the world they're leaving that much money on the table, are they?
Not at all. Not at all. Fix this. This is not that hard. Get it done, guys. 16 is where you go. You don't pit stop at 14 like we said 2 years ago. There's no reason in the world to pit stop at 14 and then go to 16. None.
Well, and I tell you another thing going on, and you hear this more in the media and from fans, and this is something you've been advocating for quite a while, is people want a situation in the playoffs that has little to do with the committee.
Absolutely.
They are tired. No other sport.
It's ridiculous.
Right now, obviously basketball has got one, but almost no other sports have a committee, and particularly like the college football committee. And look, if you're going to have this, straight seeding, I mean, that's your 12, 14, or 16 that you've got for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah. I tell you, it is really frustrating that committees are still involved in college football.
It is.
Can you imagine? Okay, Sunday at noon, the NFL is going to announce which team's got the at-large bids to get in the playoffs. The committee. Yeah. Well, the committee's going to announce that.
I tell you what's going to be interesting though is when we're having this conversation a year from now, there's going to be a lot of this stuff that's finally going to be decided. Yeah. And it's going to be behind us. We'll know the portal. We'll know signing day. We'll know OTAs. We'll know if it's going to be 16 and how they're going to do it. And look, Terry, they need a deadline. These guys need a fire underneath them to get them to make up their mind and make some decisions.
Well, they like to meet, don't they? They like to meet.
Well, it's like somebody said, if Mike Slive was still alive and he was still the commissioner, what Slive would do is he would put them all in a room, and he would say, guys, unless you got to go to the bathroom, you're not leaving here. Exactly. You're not leaving here until we come to a consensus and we get some decision made. And that's really what needs to happen here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Brent, got about a minute left. Is that the end of it? in terms of your notes? If so, we'll enjoy college baseball.
Yes.
We'll get back together Monday, and I don't know if a lot of stuff will be settled by Monday. College baseball may or may not be done. They could play a third game.
That's true.
And
now the big question is going to be is how much sunscreen will you have on tomorrow? And the second thing is what are you may be okay with this, not have any problems, but what are you taking something for seasickness?
Yeah, they gave me something to take tonight, I think. I'm supposed to take it tonight. There's a misnomer, though. I'm not going offshore fishing. I'm going offshore riding. I hope to do riding. I don't really.
Even better.
I'm not looking to do a whole lot of fishing. I don't like those old slimy, smelly fish. Yuck.
I'll be brief. I saw this news clip that how they do this every year. It's on the Weather Channel. They've got all these swimmers, and you can only see this if you were above 10,000 feet or whatever, and you got two sharks swimming around below them.
Hey, why'd you have to tell me that? Why'd you say that? That's where they live at, though. That's their house out there.
That's right. Mark Packer, who retired from the ACC network, he has this saying he said, once you get into the water, you're the visiting team.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
And
that is true. You are the I love it. Brent, have a great weekend. Enjoy some sports, and we'll visit on Monday.
Can't wait, bud. Take care.
That's our buddy Brent Beaird closing with a big one there. Good shot there, Brent. That'll wrap it up. Hope you folks enjoy this upcoming weekend of sports. We'll get back together in the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show coming up Monday at 4 o'clock right here on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday